Hey folks, Rick Berube here with another Facebook Live. We are very fortunate today from the Angarola Minucci group, number 8 in the market, Diamond Award winner, okay? Jennifer Minucci. Jennifer, welcome to the studio. That's the studio audience we were telling you about. We had to warn you that they get a little crazy back there, so.
Okay.
All right, well, tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, and all that good stuff.
All right, so I got licensed in June of 2014, and my real estate career just was a complete accident. You know how I became a realtor?
How?
Going to the gym.
Nice.
Yeah, I was 17, and I was working at a pet store, and I kept going into my apartment complex gym. And it was owned by a family at the time. And from me going back and forth, you had to walk to the office to get to the gym. And the guy asked me, he goes, "Hey, do you want a job?" And I'm like, "Doing what?" And it was leasing. So I got my rent free. And then every time I rented a place, I got like a little bonus. So for me, it was like the greatest thing I ever had. And then I moved up from there to managing communities. And then during the crash, I worked with hedge funds. And then I saw how much realtors were being paid just to show rentals. At that time, it was like $1,000 during the crash. So I said, I'm in the wrong business. And I got licensed, and I became a realtor officially October in 2014.
Awesome. But you started, when did you actually, what year was it when you were actually doing the rentals and all that?
So eons ago. So that was 2003.
Wow. So you've been involved in a long time, even though you've been officially licensed since 2014.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you've done a little of everything and then decided what your main groove was going to be.
I really think that if I didn't have the background in rentals, that I wouldn't have been able to just subsidize, because I mean, you have to have a book of business, right? You have to earn that. You have to earn people's trust. But having that background in rentals, like I would go to people like Bobby Dust or Jenny Wong, like all the people that were in my office, because I started at Southwest. I've always been with Berkshire throughout my realtor career. And I was just like, hey, can I show your properties? Can I do this? Can I advertise them? And from those seeds that I planted, I think I did 60 rentals in 2016. And then all of a sudden, I remember the day in 17 where they started calling me to buy. And I just freaked out, and I was just like, oh my God, I just wasn't used to it. But it was just a paycheck with a couple more zeros after. It was the same stuff.
Same process, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to qualify for the rental, they got to qualify to buy the house. But it's nice that all the people you rented to decided to pick you as their realtor too. It became
such a fruitful, amazing SOI for me, and it's because they were all like warm leads. And then from that, so I started at Southwest, and I was kind of floundering. And Yvonne Angarola, I volunteered to sub in for a bunco game, like it's a card game or something. And Yvonne was there, and I told her I was licensed with Berkshire, and Yvonne, she's like, oh my God, I work for Berkshire too. And for like 2 years, she helped me without asking for anything, just when I had my first sales and this and that. So when I decided to join a team, I moved to Sahara just to be with her. So I was on the Angarola group since 2016.
Right. Yeah, I remember that when you joined your team. Yes.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yvonne is a beautiful, beautiful tyrant.
Yeah. She's a great. That's why you guys make such a great team, right? You guys have, she's like more my age, and then you got the younger enthusiasm. The two of you together make an incredible group.
Yvonne, she's always called me her wild horse. And it's great because in life, I always look for people who, I call them cowboys. Like, I need them to spur me on. Sometimes I just need that kick. And Yvonne she's so regimented. I mean, she runs triathlons.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right now. And when I met her, she just has this process, and she just expects this white glove service, and she instilled that in me. And it's the most beautiful gift I think I've ever received from a mentor in my life. So her, Suzanne Passionate, I mean, they're just some of the greatest mentors I've ever had in real estate.
Very powerful woman, yeah. And Yvonne's she's somewhere over the Atlantic right now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's on her way to France to ski.
I know, she told me last time I saw, she gave me all her trips, because both you guys, to do some fun stuff outside of real estate.
Yeah, we do. We love to travel.
It's good to play hard too.
Yeah.
You don't have to just work hard.
You have to.
Speaking of playing hard, I have to mention, because I think it's so awesome that you were like, one of the first posts I've ever saw of you was like going around a corner with roller skates on. Tell us a little about that.
So I used to play roller derby for Sin City Roller Girls, and it was right around the time that I started kind of really getting competitive with real estate. So I needed a way to get that aggression out.
It's a great workout, I would imagine.
It was a great workout,
and it's like full contact rollerblading.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the greater periods of my life, and I still have those relationships today.
Awesome. Yeah, isn't that great about real estate? No matter what you do outside of the business, that you can help them eventually with their real estate needs.
Yeah, I just think that this town is just so... Southern Nevada carries with it so much transience, and with transience comes enterprise, and with new enterprise comes opportunity, and just the ability to make things that potentially were never there into something so great. And it's something that I like, relationships and harboring those relationships. But something I've been saying for the last couple years is figure out a way to sell convenience. And it works for any industry.
Right.
That's it. I mean, look at what happened when the pandemic hit. All those food delivery companies and this and that, and then it became like Amazon. The new world order.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you figure out, and it's the same thing with our industry. People want service. They're not coming to you because they want you to make their life harder. They're looking for somebody to help them.
Very good point.
That's what our team really thrives on. Is we are so service oriented. We are so... If they're on step A in our minds, we're on D already for them.
Right. You remind. I'm listening to a book right now called "Embrace the Suck" by a Navy SEAL, and you just gave some of the exact points, like the transient equals opportunity, innovation. Sometimes out of those things come, the best thing, like the pandemic, right? I mean, a bad situation, but some people turned it into positives for themselves.
Positives, yeah. I mean, and again, the pandemic was really... It was hard for a lot of people, but it was great for real estate. So, let's see, like backtracking. So the Angarola Group in 2020 and 2021, we had our best years. That was before I was her partner, and we did 125 units and $60 million in sales.
Right. And
at that point, Yvonne was just like a true mentor to me. She's like, hey, you're doing this well. She's like, maybe it's time that you went out and had your own team. And I said, well, what if we made it our team? And
that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the difference, because we are very two personalities, like two different personalities. But that's like some of the best collaborations in life, right? You look at like McCarthy and Lenin, or FDR and Churchill, like, you know what I mean? Without them, like, we wouldn't have won the war. Like, it's these two different viewpoints that make things so great in life. And that's why I love our team too, because I mean, we have people in their 20s to all the way up to, I think, their 60s, but it's that life that we breathe into each other that really like makes it this full force, because there are ideas that you don't necessarily have, and you maybe never would have, but you have so many ideals coming at you that you make this one giant masterpiece.
Right. It's funny you say about Lenin and McCarthy, because I love those two guys as songwriters. And just to give you an idea of what you're talking about, that song, I Have to Believe Things Are Getting Better, that's Paul. And then John came in with They Can't Get No Worse, right? So, and when I saw Paul Martin, it's funny you say that, because when I saw Paul McCartney interview, that's exactly what he said about their difference of personalities, although they worked really, really well together.
Totally different, but the same in the aspect of they have the same common goal. They wanted to make good music. They wanted to bring something to the people.
Right.
And that's exactly who I feel like Yvonne and I are. Now, I don't have a right to compare myself to John Lennon.
I know what you meant.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that is just what we try to do. We try to bring something to the world.
Yeah, and I know people on your team, and they really enjoy working on your team too. So it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then you guys have a little work, making your vacation schedules work, don't you? I mean, one of you has to be there.
We have, yeah. So I'm here now. As soon as she gets back, then I leave for regionals for the for LVR or for just like the state regionals, and you know what I mean. It's just it's a great yin and yang. We try
Right.
our best to balance it. Sometimes we're gone at the same time, but that's the awesome thing about having these remarkable team members. They all have these beautiful personalities, and if we both leave, we can trust that they will do the right things.
Right.
And now we have a great transaction manager. We have Tina Myers. She won the Spirit Award.
Yes,
the award.
she's great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I love her.
Yeah, so I mean, we're doing pretty well as far as just being able to have that trust and ability to know that somebody's going to be there to represent our people if we're not.
That's awesome. No, and you got Tina Myers. Who else is on your team right now?
So we have Melissa Skipworth,
Right.
Carlos Moya, Lacey Sullivan, Sami Thandi.
Right.
We have Marlene Collins. Now we have Craig Thornton. So I'm trying to think. I think that's everyone.
Okay.
9, right?
Yeah.
Me and Yvonne.
That's 2. And then you had, I think you did 6 more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you're missing 1. I don't know.
There's-
Anyway, if you missed one, very sorry. You're very special too.
I don't think I did.
No, I don't think you
But if
did.
I did, I feel terrible.
Yeah. Well, no, and because a few of them are in my coaching. Like Sami's in my coaching, Melissa's in my coach. They're both hard workers too, with the
They're
direction,
right.
and they speak nothing but great things about you too as well. So that's good.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
So now, but speaking of LVR, and I know you're involved with Women's Council. As a matter of fact, I believe that you and Rochelle Vanoy are the only 2 from the company that are in the top 25 for Women's Council, correct?
I think so.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a great honor. So this is my 2nd year in a row winning that award.
That's great.
Yeah.
What's involved with that? Give them a little, so they understand. So you're in the top 25 for Women's Council. There's a lot of things that you have to meet in order to get into that elite group.
Yeah, you have to be involved with the association. You have to give back to your community. You have to make do at least 10 million in sales, but it's more about like what you give, and everything's about reciprocity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like, hey, you did so much in sales, we're going to put you here. It's all about what you give back. So like my main charity right now is I like Dress for Success with Southern Nevada, and because that's where when I was in 2014 and I didn't have a bunch of real estate clothes, I went to Dress for Success and they gave me suits and it's all about women, and they gave me clothes. So anytime I have donations, I give back to that charity.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like this cycle of love,
Right.
and help, and then mentorship if you want to give it to them.
That's
If
great.
they're asking for it, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, Women's Council is awesome. I love it. I did that little gig on May 39th or 31st last year,
Yeah.
where I did the 1-hour gig there. It was fun. What a great group too. They were enthusiastic, energetic, right? And I know that Bobby's involved.
Yeah, Bobby is past president.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year it's Allison Wax.
Right.
They're all fantastic women.
And there's men in there too.
I think Brandon Roberts was president at one time.
Really?
I thought I heard
I see
that.
Josh there all the time too, right?
Probably.
All right, cool. All right, so now in order for you guys, because you guys, I mean, to be number 8, I mean, we have like almost 1,100 agents in Las Vegas. To be number 8, you guys must have I know you have your own niche and she probably has her own, but what are a few of the things that you do in order to produce at that level? They would probably love to hear that.
I really, really hone in on my SOI. I follow up. I mean, most of my leads, I don't really have cold leads. We just work with warm ones, which is such a beautiful thing, like I said. So all of those people, like I use the word incubate.
Mm-hmm.
So we work on that. I know people on our team do farms. They're highly involved, and like Melissa is a caller.
Yeah.
Carlos is our tech guy. Like he's always getting like SEOs and like all of that new internet stuff. Like everyone has a different thing. Yvonne is heavily in her past clients as well. But we're all about, we throw parties. We do about 4 or 5 events a year. Right, like we have a happy hour. We're doing a talk about trust. So we're doing like people who come in who don't have any will, trusts, estate planning. We have an event for them for Cinco de Mayo. So it's just tacos and attorneys. And maybe some tequila.
Maybe a little.
Just stuff like that. You really just, you give, it's like our theme now with Berkshire is forever agent, right? So we've always embodied that, but it was great that Alan Dalton and our brokers finally put a name behind it, because we didn't know what to call it, but it's what we've always been doing.
Right. No, it's true. It's true. You guys have been doing that, and it is a great name. And it's funny because Alan's going to be here tomorrow talking to our managers.
Oh, cool!
Isn't that great?
I love.
I met him in 1990 at a Mike Ferry event.
Yeah.
Mike actually dedicated his first book to Alan Dalton, so he's been around the Mike Ferry Organization.
He makes some really good points.
He really does. His language is what I think a lot of people like. He changes it and makes the language slightly different, and words matter.
Words matter, and it's like words, not just these like hot button like new buzzwords. It's actually like words that you can cement and use over time, where they won't phase out or be like unuseful. Like a forever agent is the best possible way you could put things. It's not just some like newfangled term that we're going to use and dispose of. Like that is a legit thing. Right,
it really is, and it's such a great theme too for Berkshire Hathaway, because we try to say we're number 4 on the list of top 10 names in Fortune magazine, not voted by us, but voted by everybody else. There's no other real estate company on there, which I think is I think it's cool.
I think I might have something to do with that.
Of course you do. Of course you do. All right, so you guys work your sphere really well, and you're awesome in that. But before you got there, like, what are some of the things that you did? Like, I know you mentioned Melissa calls, and were you ever into calling, mailing, or anything like that?
Oh, geez, I tried everything. You know what I mean? But it was really just the background in property management, which is the best. But I think you have to be versatile. You have to try. Like, I mean, I remember meeting you back in that office on Twain.
Yeah.
I tried calling. I mean, you have to be open to new ideas. You know what I mean? Because it's the only way that you're going to be able to find your niche and then survive. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you have to fail forward. There's another term, right? You have to be able to accept that, okay, I tried this, it doesn't work, you move on. You don't dwell. You just keep figuring out what is going to work for you. And then when it does, you stick with it.
Right.
And for me, it was sticking with the people who were loyal to me and who I treated well. And I love being a relational agent. And now, because of all of the reviews that I have earned on Zillow, I have 100 reviews on Zillow. I have close to that now on my Google business page. Now I'm getting incoming calls from people I don't know, just based on my reputation of which my clients placed on there. And that is the biggest gift anyone could have ever given me. Mm. And your reputation is super important.
Right.
It's all you have. It's something that can be busted in 2 seconds.
Right.
But it took me, I'm rounding 9 years to build.
Right.
Yeah, so Be good to your people.
Be extremely good. Like the saying goes, under promise and over deliver. Yeah. Like you said earlier, white glove service that Yvonne taught you, I think is great.
Oh, she taught me to always be 3 steps ahead and always anticipate their needs, because especially with first-time buyers, another great thing that she taught me is you have to keep people excited about the process. So, I know the thing that's going on with rates right now and this and that and the other, we haven't slowed down at all, which is really beautiful. But I think it's because of the adventurous vibe that we put behind being a new home buyer. We figure out ways. We work with prosperity, we work with equity, and they always find these great ways to help get our clients past that line where they can become buyers or into home ownership. So you have to make them not just talk about, well, things are moving so fast on the market right now and rates. No, we're going to fight for you. We're going to negotiate for you. We're going to get you $7,000 to $10,000 in closing costs. We're going to get that rate to be bought down and then move you to the next step. You have to keep them excited. Yeah. Because it's already stressful enough. You know what I mean? You have to be their champion.
Exactly. And I like what you just said there too, because let's face it, in today's world, I've been doing this for 39 years, okay? I got my license at 11. Did I tell you that? No. So I know that, like, I remember a saying, they're only making so much land, which means the market's going to eventually tighten up. For the first time in my life, I've seen that happen. And I think Las Vegas, definitely California, but Las Vegas is going through it. So first-time home buyers, well, you just said the rate down, closing costs, because if you don't own a primary residence, there's never a scenario where renting is better, right? So the 2-to-1 buy down with prosperity, like you said, it's got to be a two-step process now. That's all. They're going to convert you at almost nothing. So but you can pick the house you want, have a home inspection, maybe get some things done, right? So that's today, the rate is just part of the equation, and it's not even the most important part. The most important part is getting the property so you carve your piece of real estate out.
You date the loan, you marry the home.
Right. I love that.
Yeah. And then eventually, like, if this is your first time buying a house, I remember I bought my first house in 2018. In 3 years, I was like, okay, now I really know what I want. And then I moved on,
Right.
So it's just about taking those steps, which are really, it's like, you feel like you're jumping off a cliff at first, but once you do it, you're like, well, this wasn't that bad.
Right. Like diving your first time, right?
Yeah. Or skydiving, diving. What do you do for fun? Like, that's really adventurous.
Me?
Yeah.
Ski. Skiing is my thing. I would go with Yvonne de France in a second, but I go into the Park City. So skiing, I like skiing fast, and it's my thing. And then I record music, as you know.
Yes.
You play roller derby, which just shows you're adventurous. Anybody who plays roller derby, as a rule of thumb, okay, isn't afraid to get outside their comfort zone.
Yeah, or just likes to be beat up or something.
Right. I'm sure it was a lot of fun and very, very, very good exercise.
It is great exercise. You got to keep your mental and your physical both at par. So I balance that with, I have to admit, I haven't been doing a lot of reading lately, but I am part of my chess group. So that keeps me, it just keeps you sharp. And I love playing chess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just whatever you have to make sure, it's always the rule of threes with everything in life. Work, what keeps your mind and your body sharp. And I'm going to be 40 this year, and I have not respected and appreciated that more so than I ever have been right now, because it is so vital. I used to think sales were the most important thing in life, but I can't be good to them if I'm not good to me.
Right. So true. So true. That's such a great way to look at it too. So it sounds like you do a little meditating and things like that too, or you're thinking about it.
I think about meditating. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. No, but I do what I can when we have time in between.
Yeah.
But
well, that analogy of 2-3 moves ahead, that makes sense now that you play chess too.
Yeah, it's a great. Like I said, whatever works for you, you have to find that. So our whole motto with our team is be honest, be real, but just don't ever lose that radical authenticity, because that's what people want.
Right.
People will spot somebody who's acting phony or just trying to sell them a house a mile away. Do not be that agent. Be yourself. If I could give advice from the 3 things that I wish I would have been doing from the beginning, I wish I would have written down every person I would have come across, saved their name, and if I could have taken a picture of them so I remember what they look like. I would have made videos, and I would have been true to myself, because at the beginning I thought I had to buy a certain car and wear certain clothes. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, and especially now, I know it's not, because everyone's kind of going for that Steve Jobs vibe. You just have to be authentic. And that's it. And I think that gets you at least in the door. Right. The rest is your skill set.
It's so true that being authentic is completely transparent. If you're not being yourself, people can tell immediately. Like with your videos, like you said with social media, right? If you're doing videos and you're trying to be someone other than yourself, it's very obvious.
It's super obvious. And, everyone's being pandered to these days. So the rule of 3 actually really helps you, right? Even in your social media, right? You post something personal, you post something maybe about the community, and then you post something about your work. So people don't tune you off or feel like they're being sold to. Give them something of value, give them something about you, and then give them something that you're doing,
Right.
Just like it is with community and everything else. Be well-rounded, be more than just a realtor, even though that's a really important thing, and I'm proud to be a realtor.
Me too. I'm proud to be a salesperson too, because it's, you get paid what you're worth, and you get to decide what you're worth, and the only vote that matters is yours.
Being a business owner is the biggest trip I've ever been on in my entire life.
You're being self-employed. It's fun, isn't it?
It is. It's something. Yeah.
Did it
it's
start
very
out fun for you though? Did you have some times where you were questioning it, or?
Well, I would say I was at a less or break even standpoint for the first 3 years. And then again, Yvonne came in my life and really showed me what service was. But I'm just so happy I didn't give up.
Right.
You know? But again, that's natural because unless you're a generational realtor, which I was not, you have to earn that. You have to earn people's trust. So if you really believe in yourself
Right.
and you believe you're doing right by people, and you just give it time and plant those seeds, they will come to fruition.
Right. Awesome. Well, okay, we're at time. So any final words you want to leave these lovely people today? I'm sure they got a lot out of it because I think it was really awesome today. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi to Amanda and Mary, and I love you. And I'll talk to everyone.
And she loves you.
Yeah.
So sweet. I love it. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.